up, guys? Welcome to the Barbell Brigade Talk Show. I'm with Silent Mike and Tristyn, who you've seen on this channel already many times before. One thing I always wanted to ask you is when I first saw you on Instagram, I was like, holy shit, this kid was so young. How old were you when you started like on social media and doing fitness? And how old were you when you first got into lifting to get the physique that everyone was first like, holy shit, that's crazy?
So I started lifting when I was 13 for soccer, about 2 years before I got into social media. Yeah.
Lifting for soccer?
Yeah, so I've always been short. Like
So was it like strength and conditioning for soccer?
Yeah, initially it started like that, and then my two older brothers were kind of more into like they played rugby and wrestling, so it's more conducive to I guess the strength training and getting into the actual weight room and stuff. So that kind of shifted gears towards the more bodybuilding, heavy lifting aspect sort of things. And then at 15 I started posting on Instagram initially. Yeah.
What made you want to lift for soccer? Because I felt like most people just do the sport and do more of it.
Yeah.
And then the other aspects of being an athlete don't really come in until like way higher levels.
Yeah, I mean, I just always have loved like the progression within the gym. I kind of could see it. I liked that everything that you did directly correlated with like the progress that you're making. And obviously, when you play a team sport, it's not always like that. Soccer is not necessarily like I wouldn't say it's conducive to like a bodybuilding soccer. They're not really. They kind of collide a little bit. But everything that I was doing within the gym was helping me on the field. And I noticed like, oh, I'm a little bit stronger going up against players that are 4 or 5 inches taller than me, or I'm able to run a little bit longer just because my muscular endurance started to get better. And even just the little attentions to detail within the gym kind of allowed me that consistent progression on the field as well with the technical aspects.
I see.
What was the tipping point of when soccer became less fun and lifting became more fun? Or was there one? Or like you said off air, like
Fuck this ball.
We all are just failed athletes.
Yeah,
Lifting is the one thing that you choose to stop.
Yeah.
Every other sport, someone else is going to tell you to stop. A
Yeah.
coach, a recruiter, a boss, somebody's going to stop your life. Where like bodybuilding, powerlifting, even CrossFit, right? You can compete or do it very intensely, but you always choose.
Yeah. Soccer never wasn't fun to me, but I found myself always finding a way to get into the gym. So I lived in Spain for 6 or 8 months playing soccer.
Wow.
And during that time
Were you playing at a high level at a young age?
Decently high. Like I was doing a lot of trials over there. So I was there with a kind of like international academy. So going from Canada to overseas and trying to find those sort of trials and stuff. And
How old are you?
I was 16 when I moved over. Yeah. So that was back in 2019. Yeah.
So you were balling. You were in the
Holy
scene.
shit.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty good. I wouldn't say like I was like any. I don't think I had the potential to be like a top level overseas in Europe, especially because of how young those players start and stuff. But
you only say that because you got to a high level.
Maybe, I don't know.
No, it is. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Because other people talk like that, like, I could have gone pro. They never played against freaks.
Yeah.
You played against fucking freaks, and you were good, and you're being humble, but there is levels to fucking...
For sure.
Like, I played against basically a white LeBron James, dude. Dude had a full ride to UCLA in 8th grade.
Yeah.
6'8", 220,
Yeah.
and I was good.
Yeah.
I was good. And then that dude shows up, and I'm no longer good.
It's the levels, there's levels to it. But overseas, I always found myself finding my way back into the gym. I'd have 3 or 4 sessions with my team per day. I'd have a field session, I'd have a gym session, then I'd have a scrimmage session at night. And within like the barriers and the confines of my training, I'd always find a way to fit in a weight training session. And so when I kind of looked at it objectively, I was like, okay, like what am I doing? I'm finding the time when I'm absolutely deadbeat exhausted to go into the gym and like pick heavy circles up and down. Like why am I pushing towards something that's taking so much of the time when I could be kind of dedicating more time to the craft that I probably enjoy a little bit more. So
you were doing weightlifting with the team, and then you did your own weightlifting after?
Yeah, so where I was staying with the academy, they had like a team gym, obviously, and they would let you use it in your free time.
Yeah.
But our schedules were pretty strict because I was doing online schooling, and then you have the training sessions, you all eat together and all these different things. So if I'd have like 30, 45 minutes, I'd try to fit a little
some
training
biceps
session
in.
Yeah, it's 100% counterproductive. Like overtrained to the max, and then just like I'm like, why am I doing this? And at that time, my social media kind of had already been starting, and I was rooted in like I wanted to become a professional football player or soccer player, and because I had that opportunity with social media already kind of like flourishing with bodybuilding in the fitness space, I was like, okay, well maybe there's a route that would allow me to kind of dedicate more time, be better at weightlifting, better at bodybuilding and fitness, and not necessarily have to like rely on external things like, you know, going to trials and having to travel and, you know, playing with a team, things like that. So I've always just enjoyed being in the weight room. I'd go to the gym super early in the morning before school, 4 a.m.
Wow.
And then I've kind of just carried through into like my soccer training and social media and all that stuff. So
That's dope.
How did you start posting at 15? Like, what made you want to do that?
so I was in my high school gym.
Trying to flex on some chicks?
I was literally oblivious to it. I was this like 15-year-old kid who just loved weightlifting. And so my friend took a video of me and he's like, you know, you look pretty insane in this compared to the other 15-year-old
Yeah.
kids or whatever. So he's like, you just posted on Instagram. And at that time,
Was it one of those things when like you took off like your hoodie in the gym and every other 15-year-old's like, what the fuck?
there was basically no other 15-year-olds in the gym at the time. So
Oh.
in high school gym class, like people are like kind of like, what are you doing? Because I was very like conscious of like bodybuilding specific training. I wasn't focused on ego lifting or like a lot of like, I'm sure you know, in the high school gyms, everybody's trying to bench 225, right? Things like that. But everything that I was doing was kind of tailored towards like either functionality for soccer or like bodybuilding specific training to build more muscle, which would help me, I guess, like against more physical players.
You had a plan.
Yeah,
And no
and-
one in there gives a shit.
Exactly. So like, as soon as my friend saw that, he's like, you should just post this on Instagram. And at the time, Instagram wasn't really like fitness was there, but it wasn't like a massive avenue for young kids to get into compared to now.
Yeah.
Now you see every single young kid, like the number one thing that everybody wants to be is an influencer. But back when I did it, I was the only one. So like having that kind of differentiating factor of being the young kid, one, I looked like I was like 12 years old when I was 15, which, you know, plays to my benefit.
Yeah.
And then posting that on social media and that kind of like expanding out there because there wasn't many people doing it. That was like kind of the start of everything. Just having my friend take that video and give me that little hint of like, you should go.
That's cool.
There's nothing to lose, you know?
Yeah.
So your first post was a video?
Yeah, it was a video.
What were you doing in the video?
I was doing like a 5-pound bicep curl.
Because you're trying to go like slow
Yeah,
and
super
control.
slow. Like, yeah, looking back
Oh,
on it,
shit.
it wasn't optimal by any means, but I think there was like an attention to detail that a lot of kids honestly don't
you
have.
have energy going towards it.
Yeah, it was funny because one of the first people that kind of defended me in the comment section was Jason Derulo. And so that was like the
cool.
first thing I was like, this guy's like A-list. And he's commenting on it saying like, you guys don't understand how hard it is to train like that, slow and controlled and
That's
stuff.
fire.
And I was like, okay, well, if I got people like this
Yeah.
commenting, there's obviously something there.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it was cool.
What are some exercises you did for soccer functionality versus like the bodybuilding stuff?
So a lot of it was like explosiveness drills, and I would say like now looking back on it, I could have been more sport specific by just honestly going in and doing a lot of the technical aspects of sprinting, the actual like ball work and stuff. But a lot of it's similar, like just trying to progress with like squats, lunges, more power-based movements, less, I guess, like, you know, optimal cable lateral raises, not as much of that stuff, more like box jumps, squats, heavy lunges, those sort of things. Yeah.
Where'd you learn some of that? Do you have good coaches along the way? You start
both-
Googling?
Both of my, yeah, 100%. Like a lot of it was just Google, and
Yeah.
there's so much information on the internet, whether you kind of got to decipher, but it definitely helped me. And then my two older brothers were kind of into that side of things. My middle brother broke his femur, so he was very particular about like, okay, I need to rehab this, and it's very specific, the movements that you have to do, and that kind of got us into the whole like anatomy side of things, and then really researching. I've always just kind of had an interest in like finding what is the answer, what is the best way to kind of do things.
So you guys put your programming together yourself?
Yeah.
As like a team of brothers?
Yeah, and it wasn't the best, but it was like we loved it, so
Yeah.
we carried through, you know.
What did your parents think of like, were all three of you guys just like fucking
Little meatheads?
Yeah, like smashing the
Yeah,
iron?
it's
or
pretty
like,
weird. I think because I played soccer, it normalized it a little bit. I kind of had that associated. I was like, yeah, I'm doing this for soccer, but I don't know. Bodybuilding's a weird thing to look at when
Yeah.
you're a parent. You see, you know, if you're a 15-year-old kid and he's in posing trunks on a stage, like it's a little weird. It's something, and you're just purely working like to subjectively look good to a judge or
Yeah.
whatever it is. But my parents have always been 100% supportive of every
That's
single
cool.
thing that we do. So I don't know. I don't know what they think really about it. I'm sure it's odd. You talk to like
Yeah.
normal people who aren't in the fitness industry, and they're like don't understand any of it. But
Yeah, if I was an outsider and I started Googling it because
Yeah.
my kid was doing it and like Ronnie Coleman
Yeah.
pops up, you're like, what the fuck is my son doing?
Like, what led him to this?
Yeah.
Did you guys have like a little mini weight set in the garage? Like, were you guys?
We had a home gym for sure, but most of it was just at like a local. We had a Lifetime Fitness, and we trained out of there and stuff. So, because I was already doing the soccer stuff, we had some little bit of teamwork in the gyms, but very minimal. And we had we had a barbell and like an old bench that was like my dad's when he was a kid, stuff like that. So we'd use that every once in a while, yeah.
So it'd just be mainly seeing the kids leave, and then you guys come back like 2 hours later or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like, because when I first started lifting, it was we just bought a set from like Big Five, and it was in the garage.
Yeah.
And I think what my dad liked about it is I grew up in a time where a lot of kids got into trouble. Mm-hmm. So I think my dad was like, okay, cool. From like 3 to 5, he's at least at home.
Yeah.
And so like, even though he probably thought it was weird, because just a bunch of like little kids just grunting and shit.
Yeah. White tank tops just screaming at each other.
And but I think for him, he was like, okay, cool, they're here and not doing anything crazy.
Yeah.
So I just pictured like, imagine like if you and your brothers, like what, all three of them just fucking grunting in the ground.
Yeah.
It is a lot more normal now. Like my story is like just kind of like lucky my dad loved sports, so I got like a strength and conditioning coach in 8th grade, and I learned a ton. I did things the right way. My dad was kind of like how your mentality is, and my mentality is similar. He's like, well, if my son's gonna go lift weights, I want him to do it like right.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, let me go get him a good coach so he just go
100%.
kill himself.
Don't hurt himself.
Yeah, he's gonna go die. Yeah. So he got me a good coach. But I think nowadays it is normal to lift weights.
Yeah.
Like even you're obviously a little bit younger, but like
even normal at a younger age too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Michael Jordan made lifting weights cool for basketball in like the 90s. Then it got cool in like the 2010s. So I was on the cusp of that. I started lifting like 01. But soccer is still, right? Like it's not like you're seeing videos of Messi squatting deep, even though he probably does lift. But you go to a collegiate place, and they're probably all lifting weights.
Yeah.
High school teams are probably lifting weights now. Like parents get it, and people get it.
Especially in America. Like, that's kind of the thing. If you go overseas, it's not as much. Everything's with the ball. Everything's like technical and all that stuff. But in America, like there's something about it. You know, the college weight rooms for football.
It's because we're freaks, dude.
Yeah, 100%.
We're fucking strong. We're fast. We fucking win.
America, yeah.
Dude.
America.
I'm saying this as a Canadian.
That's right, dude.
Well, you guys are North America too.
It counts.
Yeah, I don't know about your sports, but you're getting there.
Unbeatable. Thank you guys, and stay tuned for more episodes.